Patriots of era, Protestants and Catholics, Loyalists and Nationalists, 32 counties united with one common goal: to unite and save our country. Was I right? Was I right, folks? Yes, I was. The Kerry election was rigged. The hooly and the lies and the cover-up. They celebrated and partied like it was 1999 last Thursday night in Leinster House, while our democracy crumbled, and while people protested outside the Dáil in solidarity with the 16,000 Irish homeless. Instead, inside the gates of Leinster House, Michael Healy-Rae, Minister for State, threw a lavish party for around 100 of his Kerry insiders, who helped him to allegedly top the poll in the last general elections, completed with drinks and a 3-course meal, roast chicken supreme, gratin potatoes, caramelised lemon tartlets. I'm getting hungry at the thought of it, folks. And a Castle fresh birthday cake from Maloney's Cake Shop for a 70-year-old team member, Tom O'Shea from Waterville. And happy birthday, Tom, to you. But this wasn't casual. They rocked the joint. They rocked Leinster House and toured the Dáil and Shannon, intertwined with ministers, and not one penny of this lavish event has been accounted for. Who paid for it? Did Michael Healy-Rae, Minister for State, pay for this out of his own pocket? Or was this funded by you, the great taxpayers in this country? Look, my father, Luke Keane, the man who got Michael Healy-Rae off the ground in North Kerry, and who Michael thanked himself. He thanked my father on the Late Show for getting him his first votes in North Kerry, wasn't even invited. Now, let that sink in. David Moriarty, 29, from Cahersiveen, drove 64 kilometres to impersonate a voter. Just think about that, folks. Caught red-handed using somebody else's polling card, Judge David Waters probed for accomplices, and Moriarty's solicitor promised full cooperation. Despite the Electoral Provisions Act carrying up to a 5 years prison sentence, Moriarty walked away with merely paying €1,000 to some charity with no conviction. Why didn't the Gardaí in Kerry investigate this properly? Who else pulled Moriarty's strings? And which Gardaí were complicit or negligent? People need to know these names. Look, Justice Judge Water, he was a justice with an agenda. He once asserted during the case that Moriarty would go to prison, but he didn't, folks. He got off with a €1,000 charity fine. Meanwhile, the same judge, David Waters, convicted Kevin Healy-Rae and Jackie Healy-Rae for assaulting a man outside a chip van in Kinmare. But they never served a day in prison. In all these cases, a custodial sentence would be appropriate. But where's the consistency? Where's the disparity? And questions now need to be raised about why Judge Waters didn't follow the law and imprison the man. Michael Healy-Rae, bold denial and the Plantyre connection on RTE was evident when he was questioned on RT1 News by what I would say was a very, well-coordinated interview on RT's behalf. And Michael Healy-Rae said, in my absolute knowledge, I have no knowledge whatsoever, and claimed that the man didn't work for the Healy-Rae company. Yet, evidence and Senator Michael Kennelly's statement suggests Moriarty is linked to that very company that Danny and Johnny Healy-Rae now must step forward and explain to the people. Our democracy is under threat, and Kerry people need answers. And look, if I ever see Senator Michael Kennelly, I'll be buying him a pint, because, I always felt in the last general election, Senator Michael Kennelly got shafted by Simon Harris when they only ran one candidate, Billy O'Shea, in the general election, and that was in South Kerry. He ran for when there was always a huge Fine Gael vote in North Kerry, and you know, for Senator Mike now to come forward, you know, it just backs up everything that I've been saying, and I'm definitely going to buy him a pint when I meet him. Politics aside, but, you know, fair play to him. That's all I say. Look, we see my own High Court case is buried now in the High Court. Election evidence is hidden now from the public. My High Court challenge against the election that I exposed about, you know, the election irregularities in Kerry and in Ireland, and in relation to the Turin Cahill polling station where the presiding officer turned out the ballots. This is buried now in the High Court. My filings, the affidavits, they're full of explosive testimony and are nowhere now to be found online. And no news outlet has touched this. When the public finally sees the truth in my explosive affidavits, Ireland will wake up and rage will happen. And, you know, this democracy in Ireland now is a joke, and we need a full independent inquiry into the whole election process in this country. But beyond Kerry, Coolock, Collins, and the legal corruption there. Look, in Coolock, citizens now are outraged. They've contacted me and they want to know who financed the High Court case and why Melissa Kelly, who was one of the plaintiffs, she never received a penny from any, you know, GoFundMe page or whatever. And why are the councillors remaining silent? Why are Gavin Pepper, Malachy Stinson and Patrick Quinlan, why are they all being silenced now? Accountability is demanded. I told the truths of the facts of what happened in court. And why aren't these people standing up for their communities? You know, and they call themselves nationalists. How are we ever going to get on in this country and get this government out if people aren't pulling together? Will you cop on, folks? Everyone needs to get together in this nationalist party now and unite. Look, I'm calling for a peaceful protest outside the Dáil with 100,000 Irish people. Look, folks, we need 100,000 people now, between parents, farmers, truckers, students, workers, everyone who still believe that Ireland belongs to its people. Not next month, not next year, not 3 months' time. We need it now. Look, I have always coordinated with the Gardaí to ensure my peaceful protests. Over the last 5 years, any time I've held a peaceful protest, I've written a letter to An Garda Síochána advising them of what my intentions are with the protest and giving them my number and telling them that I will fully cooperate with them on the day, which I did the last day outside Leinster House. And I have to say one thing, the guards were absolutely brilliant to every one of us. And it was a peaceful protest. There was no arrests. There was no nonsense. You know, I saw one protest during the week where a man told the guard to fuck off. I mean, and he got arrested apparently. Sure, how can you get away with telling a guard that? That's inexcusable. We need justice and law in this country. Look, despite me being falsely imprisoned by the Irish state for 4 days before Christmas, I still do believe in a justice system. And I do believe that 90% of the guards are amazing and do fantastic work. But when you see Captain Kelly coming out and, you know, highlighting the wrongdoing that's been done to young girls and young men down in Waterford, this is a national scandal and a disgrace. And like, the buck stops with, you know, our Minister Jim O'Callaghan and Drew Harris, our Garda Commissioner. And they need to come back now, and particularly Jim O'Callaghan, he needs to come back and address this immediately, because this is getting out of hand. People are contacting me and telling me stories that are not for the faint-hearted. And, like, you know, they need to wake up and realise that this has happened. And, you know, DNA tests now will probably be brought in to these cases down in Waterford. But I still believe in justice, because without justice in this country, we're at nothing. And look, what people forget is, do you think for 1 minute a lot of these guards want to be out in the street you know, standing when we're all protesting. They don't, because they're mothers and fathers themselves. A lot of Gardaís are on basic salaries that can't meet the everyday bills, like most of the people in this country now, with the high rise of inflation. So, like, you know, we need to work together, and I'm asking now people, we need to get out, rally together, everyone, forget the egos. Will you cop on, folks? And, you know, we need to lead now and get this government out, because they're destroying our country. Our children's futures are going down this money. And, you know, the sooner you wake up and cop on about this, the better, people, because I just think the moment has come now where we, as many people as we can, 100,000 plus, need to get outside the Dáil and get this government out once and for all. And listen, I don't care who's inside in power. They can't do any more damage than what's been done to this country. We need to save our country. And look, I'd like to wish today my great fans in both Cork and Tipperary the best of luck today. May the best team win today, because be under no illusions, hurling is the best sport in the world, and two of the greatest teams in this country are going to give us, you know, a star performance. And I can't pick any of them, because I think Cork is the most amazing sporting county in the country, and you know, their people are fabulous. And I do love the Tipperary lads as well, and Tipperary has been a great country fighting for Irish freedom down through the years, along with Cork. So look, it's all to play for. So up Tip and up Cork, and let the best team win. Goramila Mahagav.